What's going on, everyone? Happy Sunday. Hopefully everyone is doing well and having a great day so far. It is time now for the Sunday weather update for Sunday, November 24th, 2024. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. This is where I do the daily weather update on all things weather for the United States and sometimes a weather headline from something going on elsewhere around the world. Today we're going to talk about the current weather, the weather for the upcoming holiday week. Yes, the big old Thanksgiving holiday is coming up, and we are still tracking a storm system, albeit the models are continuing to play games and be all over the place. And then behind that, we are talking about a significant cold shot I'm going to call Arctic blast that is coming for a large section of the United States. It is really going to feel cold. Matter of fact, it could be the coldest start to December that many places have seen in many years. It's going to be a lot different than what has been occurring in the past few years. So if you're new to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, share this video with anyone you know, and of course leave any comments and questions down below. Alright, I wanted to share something from the Weather Prediction Center. I saw something that was really interesting on this snowfall report map, and that is this. Take a look at this. 1 mile north-northwest of Tyrone, Pennsylvania, received 25 inches of snow from that storm system late last week. Now take a look at this. Here's the map here. Here's where Tyrone, Pennsylvania is, right here in this red. State College, Pennsylvania is, give or take, we'll say about 30 miles just to the northeast of there. Okay, we'll say northeast, right in here. Look at the, you can see here, the colors on the map. State College, Pennsylvania received under 1 inch of snow. That is just an absolutely incredible gradient, and it really shows how that storm was an elevational event. It is just totally incredible that in just that small distance, you go from under 1 inch of snow to over 25 inches of snow. And where that measurement was taken, there is some elevation to that area. It's probably over 1,000 feet at that location. All right, taking a look nationally at power outages, we still have 30,295 customers without power in Washington, and in the state of Pennsylvania, 26,184 people have no power. New York State is 12,661. West Virginia did have quite a bit of snow in the mountains as well. They have 3,834 people without power at this time. Taking a look at the Pacific Northwest in the Pacific Ocean, we see here, yes, there are still some clouds spinning, but we don't see any monster storm systems. That is some good news for you. Taking a look at the national satellite picture, we do have some clouds that are coming off of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario in the northeast today. There have even been a few showers or snowflakes found with that, no accumulations. And taking a look at the rest of the country, relatively quiet in the southeast, the Carolinas, and Great Lakes, but we do see here across the plains, there is a system. That's going to be the next cold front that comes in for the east. And what that cold front does, it's going to flatten the heights, the flow in the atmosphere. So we'll have to see how much that does flatten things, because a lot of that is going to be key to where that Thanksgiving storm system tracks, which, again, I stress, the models are still just having problems with that. A little bit more agreement, but then there's the European. I'll show you in just a moment. Here's radar. Here's that system there. Not a lot of moisture with that system. Here's those few showers or even snow flurries, snow showers that are in the northeast. And on the west coast, there is still some rain today. It's a rather rainy all day if you're in Portland, Oregon. Some showers in Seattle, and even just a few showers in northern California. And you see a little bit of a heavier activity coming offshore, and yeah, you can see here a few more hours of rainfall is likely for Portland, Oregon. Taking a look at the National Hazards map, not much going on right now. We'll have to see if this map fills in a little bit as we head towards midweek, and it could fill in a little bit. There could be another snow event in the mountains out west. That's part of the piece to the puzzle for that Thanksgiving system that we are watching. Storm Prediction Center, well, nothing to talk about there today. Same goes for the National Hurricane Center. As for the Weather Prediction Center, let's back up for a second. There are some marginal risks of excessive rainfall. They're all on the west coast, and it's not looking anything near as significant from what you saw over the past several days. But nonetheless, in the portions of eastern California, there is still some heavier precipitation showing up here for you. And take a look at this. Yes, we're talking about central California now, not northern California. Still some precipitation there. A lot of that comes from day one, and then tomorrow it shifts south a little bit, and you can see here, as the time we get into day 4, quieter out there. Now, taking a look at day 3, you can see across Colorado, Rockies, and Utah, there's some precipitation there in the form of snow. Day 4, we start watching Kentucky, Tennessee, portions of the southern Gulf Coast states. That's that next system. And we can see here, as I advance this to the days 1 through 7 total, beneficial rainfall. I know the timing is not great, but anything that does fall along 95 will be beneficial rainfall. Notice I'm saying the words rainfall. I don't think there's going to be much in the way of snow unless you get farther to the northwest, far northwest. And northern New England, we'll have to keep an eye on this for you. That could be snowfall like Montpelier, Vermont, Stowe, Vermont, Mount Washington, northern Maine. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on those areas. Taking a look at the shorter term first. Here's the NAM model. And we can see on the NAM model, windy conditions do continue into tonight across northern New England. That will subside tomorrow. Here comes that next storm system. And again, I highly stress, not a lot of precipitation with this. We do see a little bit more activity bubbles up late Monday night into early first thing Tuesday morning. So if you're in New York, if you're in Philadelphia, Washington, you'll see some showers. Maybe some of them will be on the heavier side. It's not going to last all that long, and they will pass through Tuesday morning. Behind that, take a look here. The isobars, yeah, they're getting close together. What does that mean? More wind once again, and I am going to change this back to the 12Z run. It shows pretty much a similar thing. We can see here, yet again it'll be windy, and a small minor storm system is showing up on the NAM for portions of Maine and New Hampshire as we head Tuesday evening into Wednesday. We'll keep our eyes on that. We also note here, here's the next piece to the next storm. It is showing up in the Rockies, and you can see here, heavy snowfall for you. Amounts over a foot in the mountains could definitely be possible. And at the end of the NAM, here's that next storm system. Let's go over to the GFS, and we're going to take a look at 3 models. The GFS, the Canadian, and the European, because we really need to just figure out just what's going to happen with this system, because we're getting closer now to that all-important travel time, which is Wednesday. And I know a lot of people travel on Tuesday as well, and here we are Wednesday evening. So you're seeing here, Wednesday evening, you're seeing, here's that gradient that's setting up, and that would support some overrunning moisture to develop. You know, warmer air evecting over the colder air. That does generate moisture. That does generate some precipitation. And you're seeing here, there's an area of high pressure in Canada, but that doesn't really come down. And as I advance, as you can see, there's that snowstorm that is in the Rockies. But look, there's a piece of energy that's developing well ahead. It's weaker, but some of that is because of the warmer air evecting over the colder air. And look what happens here on the GFS. Now we're coming into Thanksgiving morning. Not a really organized system like we saw on some of the earlier runs. You can see here, some of the energy does try to lag, and there will be some showers in the southeast on Thanksgiving Day. And then take a look at this. Those showers evolve into yet another piece of energy, really strung out. There goes one low, and there's another piece of energy down the south. So you're seeing 2 pieces, not one compacted storm, like we were seeing earlier in the models. But now let's go to the Canadian model. Here's the Canadian model, and generally not all that much different. There's the cold front that comes through the east on Tuesday morning. You can see here, there goes one piece of energy. Here's the second piece of energy. And on the Canadian, the second piece of energy gets a little bit stronger, and it does come to the northeast, and we do get some beneficial rainfall. And then northern New England, you do see some snows. I wouldn't say it's significant, with exceptions to Maine on this model. And then behind that, it gets really windy, and the lake effect snow machine does go up. And the timing here is a little different as well. You can see it starts more towards Friday evening in the northeast, or excuse me, Thanksgiving evening, and then on Friday, Black Friday, yeah, that's when the coastal system gets going. So the Canadian is a bit delayed, but we have yet another solution. That would be the 12Z European model run. Take a look at this. Here comes the cold front going through the east, and on the European, you see, hey, look at this. We are here at first thing Wednesday evening, and look at this. Yes, you're seeing precipitation in the Ohio Valley, even seeing a little bit of a mixed precipitation. You're seeing a stronger area of low pressure. As I advance this, Friendsgiving, that is Wednesday night. That's a big deal. And if you're doing Friendsgiving in, say, Cincinnati, Ohio, Louisville, Kentucky, well, look at this. You're actually getting some heavy rainfall. And you're seeing there's a 999 millibar low right near Louisville, Kentucky. As I advance this, look at this. There's a strong cutting low going over the northeast. Also, look at this. In the northeast, you're seeing very heavy snows from portions of western Maine, back through New Hampshire, Vermont, upstate New York, Saratoga, New York, Burlington, Vermont. Yeah, that is heavy snow for you. Look at this. As I advance this even further, we're on Thanksgiving Day here. It is just ripping snow in Mount Washington, the Green Mountains, the White Mountains, northern Maine. Yeah, so that, and I continue to advance this. Not only does the storm go more northwest, take a look at the timing here. We're at Thanksgiving night. You can see it is exiting by Thanksgiving night. So it's about 12 to 18 hours faster than the Canadian. And it's not two different storms like you see on the Canadian and GFS, where it's two pieces of energy. It's one consolidated piece of energy, and it really gets going. Northern Maine on this run would see over a foot of snow, as would northern Vermont and New Hampshire. So yes, we still have some figuring out to do. One, we need to figure out what the timing is going to be of the storm. Two, we need to figure, is it going to be one consolidated storm, or is it going to be a separated storm? I can tell you there are other models, such as the German model. That one also is two separate waves and not a consolidated storm. So the European today, this is the 12Z run, just in today. It is not backing down on the idea that this is going to be an inland, a cutting storm versus a major coastal. It doesn't become a coastal system until it gets to, say, around Boston. That's where it really transfers its energy. So we need to figure out, is that going to happen, or are all the other models correct? And we need another day to figure that out. Tomorrow, hopefully, will be the day. Now, there's something we need to take a look at behind that storm. And this is really important, too. Something we have not talked about starting in December for a large portion of the country in a long time. So, we're at the GFS 18Z Friday. Here we go into Saturday morning. That system has left. Look what's happening here. You're seeing an evasion of very, very cold Arctic air in the northern plains. That air is going to just continue to come southeast. Watch what happens as we head into Sunday. You can see here, it's in the 20s in the northeast. As I continue to advance this, yeah, it warms up a little bit, but watch behind it. Now you're seeing that pinks there. There's magenta color. That's that really cold air. Those purples. Yeah, they start to come southeast. And as we head into Monday, a lot of places in the northeast, the Ohio Valley, Chicago, the northern plains, you're just not even going to get above the freezing level. In fact, you're seeing here highs in the teens in some places. And that's not even factoring in wind chills. And then come Tuesday, it makes its way into the northeast. And yes, look at this. Day after day after day of very cold air. In fact, let's zoom this in to the northeast view, shall we? Take a look at this as the time we get into Thursday. You're seeing lows in the teens and even single digits showing up on the GFS. This is just really cold to start December. Some of the coldest air we have seen in a very long time, and it does stay around for a while. You can see, even by the time we get into the following Sunday, still just highs in the 40s. I mean, that it does moderate eventually, but for the first week of December, it is looking very cold. The coldest start to December in many years for much of the country. Let's go back to the national view real quickly, because I have to reverse this, and I have to show you something else in this. And let's go back a little bit. Take a look in the south as we head into that same stretch. And I'm going to zoom into the south, because I need you to see this is really impressive. Look at the southeast states. You're seeing that freezing line getting all the way down to the Florida Panhandle. Take a look at that. Yes, the freezing line makes it all the way down to almost Jacksonville. This is an extremely cold air mass, and it's going to impact millions of people. Now would be the time to make sure your heater's working. If you have a fireplace, make sure you're stocked up on firewood, because this is going to be a particularly cold stretch. And you can see here, Climate Prediction Center, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. well below average temperatures from the Great Lakes to the Ohio Valley, straight on through to the Mid-Atlantic. But there's another problem with this. There's not going to be a lot of precipitation. Also, take a look at the West Coast. Things do warm up for you. I'm not including the West Coast. I need to talk about you as well, because there's a big change in the West Coast. A little bit warmer and a lot drier in the 6 to 10 day period. A lot different from what you just saw over the last week. It is not going to be as active. Now, down here in Texas, you're seeing this above average precipitation. That's because there's going to be a disturbance in southern Texas and the Gulf. It's not going to be tropical in any nature, but that is going to allow for some clouds, some showers, maybe even downright periods of rain at times. We'll have to see how that plays out. In the east, to go with that cold, we're not talking about much in the way of snow chances. We're talking about below average precipitation. As we head into 8 to 14 day temperature outlook on the West Coast, you will continue to be above average. Remember, the United States can sometimes be a seesaw. And in this case, it is going to be where the West Coast is up, the East Coast is down. So in other words, East Coast below average, West Coast above average. I'm telling you, it is going to really be an Arctic blast in the east. And again, we're not looking at a very stormy period. I mean, there'll be some precipitation in the south and maybe in the northern plains. That's where you could see some snow. But in between, below average precipitation. So once we get past that Thanksgiving storm threat, I think things are going to be quieter, but they're going to be very cold. And I've been talking about this for almost a week now, about this cold stretch, and it really is looking like it is going to pan out in the east. Snow lovers, unfortunately, I'm not talking about a major snowstorm. Unless you're in northern Maine, Vermont, or New Hampshire, stay tuned. That is still to be decided, just what is going to happen with that storm system. I think eventually, ultimately, here's my personal opinion. I think what we're going to see happen with that storm is the Euro is going to come south a little bit. The other models may somewhere come and meet somewhere in the middle. So what that would mean is Thanksgiving, yeah, we're going to see some rain, probably in portions of the Ohio Valley on Thanksgiving Eve, and some rain for Washington, New York, Philadelphia, Boston. But we're not talking about a flooding rain event. And then on the north side, there could be just a touch of snow, where a few inches of snow do fall. And there will be some wind with this system as well. So I think we're going to see the models eventually come to a compromise. Maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. You'll have to check back tomorrow to find out. That does it for today's weather update. So again, if you're in the West Coast, get ready. Things are about to get quieter. Things are about to warm up. If you're in the East, get ready. Storm potentially on Thanksgiving, and then it's going to get really cold with highs in many places away from the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic being below freezing. Matter of fact, if you're away from I-95, there'll be days where highs are just near freezing. And if you're up in Chicago, extremely cold for you. Wind chills. I forgot to mention that. Wind chills will be probably in the teens and 20s, even in the afternoon. And at nighttime, we could see wind chills at or below 0 in the northern plains with this Arctic blast that is coming. Want to follow me on Blue Sky? Climate Data Report. Also, Climate Data Report on X. But the handle is Climate Data RPT. They wouldn't let me fit the whole thing in there. Alrighty, guys. That does it for the Sunday weather update. We'll have another update again tomorrow. If you enjoyed this update, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with anyone you know. Let people know. Things are really about to get cold in the east for millions of people. And, of course, leave any questions and comments down below. I'll see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, have a fantastic Sunday afternoon, and thanks for watching.